Welcome back, Ronin Renegades. I am Lupine Fiasco. This is Daily FaB gameplay, and today's game will be played against Boltyn. For anyone who is new to the channel, welcome to the Resistance. What we do here is review replays of games that I have played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I will walk through turn cycles as if I were taking them now, while explaining my thought process for the lines that I take. We compare that to what I did at the time of recording to either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns, with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future to take down paper events like Road to Nationals or ProQuests, and most importantly, walk away with that shiny, shiny cardboard. Today's game features my Switchblade list. If you would like to check that list out or try it for yourself on Talishar, the FaB deck link is available in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. The best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also available in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you Discord access, your name will be listed in every daily FaB gameplay video, and there are other great bonuses to come. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can't afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. Without further ado, let's talk about our sideboard and our game plan. As a quick aside, I want to thank you all for sticking with me for over 100 episodes of daily FaB gameplay. I had no idea when I started making these videos that I would become as successful as I have been, and that is all thanks to you. For everyone who's been watching for those 100 episodes, I truly appreciate it. For everyone who's subscribed, I appreciate that even more. And I'm looking forward to learning and growing with you all through at least another 100 episodes, and even more to come after that. But back to this game. We have lost the die roll, and our
Boltyn
will be going first. I'm pretty confident that he's going to be playing Saber's combo. Generally, combo decks do want to go first. Boltyn will use this opportunity to put cards into Soul and draw down to find his Lumina Ascensions and his Beacon of Victories. And unfortunately, there isn't anything we can do about that. The most that we will be able to do on Boltyn's turn 1 is some blocking, so that isn't going to affect our equipment or our card choices. As far as those choices, we are going to be switching off of our Kodachi and Mask of Momentum in favor of our Emberblade and Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. We want this game to end as quickly as possible. We do not want to give Boltyn time to find his combo, so we need to deal a lot of damage very quickly, and the best way we can do that is with our Emberblade and with our Pouncing Lynx. Emberblade is worth 3 points of damage off of 2 resources, as opposed to our Kodachis, which are worth 2 points of damage from 2 resources. And our Pouncing Lynx is a guaranteed 5 points of value, compared to our Mask of Momentum that may be worth a maximum of 2 if we never get that card draw. And the reason I think we won't get that card draw against combo Boltyn is based on how the deck functions. It is a pure and simple combo deck. It is trying to find very specific cards to do a very specific thing. And those cards, as I mentioned, are Lumina Ascension and Beacon of Victory, which would find Lumina Ascension. Boltyn plays both Lumina Ascensions, breaks his Courage of Bladehold to make his Centauri Saber attacks free, then attacks us for anywhere from 26 to 48 damage based on the number of Lumina Ascensions used and whether Gallantry Gold was broken. So we need to win very quickly, and because Boltyn is going to be searching for those specific cards, it means that he will be using the rest of his cards and armor suite to block. I am not confident that we will ever trigger Mask of Momentum until we get to a point where Boltyn has the necessary combo pieces and has enough life left to take all of our damage, he will not block. And yes, we trigger Mask Momentum that turn, but there's no guarantee that we draw something that will end the game. We need Pouncing Lynx to find a finisher. Looking at the deck itself, the only change we'll be making is our standard sideboard swap of Bleed Out for Spreading Flames, which we do every time we play Searing Emberblade. Defense reactions are only going to slow us down. We don't care about blocking any of Boltyn's damage leading up to the combo, and we don't care about devoting cards to blocking the combo. It is unlikely that we will be able to prevent Boltyn from getting full value out of his combo, even with Sink Below's Reinforce the Lines or That All You Got. And we aren't so confident that Boltyn is going to be throwing 2-powered Bolt of Courages or attacking with his Centauri Sabers that we want to run That All You Got. We are just bringing Spreading Flames to make our big turns bigger. The game plan, full offensive value. We do not care about blocking. We do not care about prolonging the game. We want to throw all of our damage at Boltyn as quickly as we can. The exception would be something like a Bolt of Courage if Boltyn does not have an arsenal and has no cards left in hand. Preventing Boltyn from drawing cards leading up to the combo will only prolong the time it takes for Boltyn to find it, which is very good for us. Our most important cards in this matchup are Command and Conquer and Warmonger's Diplomacy. Boltyn is going to take time to find the combo pieces. One of them will likely go into his arsenal leading up to the time that he uses the combo. So Command and Conquer is a very powerful way to either destroy that combo piece if we are able to strip Boltyn's hand on a particularly big turn leading up to the CNC, or it is a way to get cards out of Boltyn's hand on defense when he would otherwise want to combo, which buys us another turn. And if Boltyn wasn't blocking, intending to combo before we played our CNC, he probably took a bit of damage. Maybe that put him low enough that now he has to do more blocking on his next turn and doesn't get to combo at all. Warmonger's Diplomacy is the surefire way we have to make sure that Boltyn cannot combo on the turn after we play it. Because of the nature of the combo, Boltyn does need to use non-attack actions and attack actions in the same turn, and Warmonger's Diplomacy makes this impossible. Sticking an early Warmonger's Diplomacy into Arsenal and keeping it there until Boltyn stops blocking our damage is the best way to buy time and can very often be the difference between getting comboed or not. It's a lot of information to take in. Boltyn is fairly unique as a pure combo deck. Flesh and Blood does not have a ton of them, the exceptions being Kano or Max. So it can be a very unique deck to play against and a very unique style of play necessary to win. And hopefully I can impart some knowledge here. Jump into the game and we'll see how it all comes together. Our Phoenix Flame goes to discard, and we draw into a pretty decent hand. We have a Command and Conquer and a Warmonger's Diplomacy. Now ideally, we might see some other cards that would lend themselves better to offense, and we would draw into these later. But having a Warmonger's Diplomacy or Command and Conquer to stick into the arsenal on turn 1 is so good for Boltyn. How are we going to deal with this Bolt of Courage? Boltyn has charged this turn, so we do want to overblock the Bolt of Courage to deal with Boltyn's effect. If we block this bolt with an attack action, which we most likely will, it is going to gain 1 power. So if we wanted to be the most efficient with our combo breakers, we would block this with our Bittering Thorns and our Mounting Anger. I am a little more interested in being aggressive and I can do so while also keeping a Warmonger's Diplomacy. So I would like to block this Bolt of Courage with a Command and Conquer and a Bittering Thorns. There is an argument for only blocking 3. We block with the Command and Conquer. The Bolt of Courage gains 1 power and we take 1. It is unlikely that Boltyn uses his hero ability to give it go again. But we can just block from hand, kill your darlings. We can give the CNC here. What I don't like about this play is if we draw into 2 non-starters, then our turn isn't very good. We just don't get to do anything. And if we still have this mounting anger, we might be able to attack with that and an Emberblade. Maybe we could pick up a Phoenix Flame and throw that as well. This hand just locks us into not being able to do all that much if we don't draw a starter. Like we don't here. So if this Command and Conquer was a Mounting Anger or even a Bittering Thorns, we could do really something this turn. What we have to do instead, which is fire off a blind Art of War and just hope it gets there. The other problem being that we don't want to pitch this Warmonger's Diplomacy. We would like to save this. So what I want to do with this hand is pitch my Lava Vein Loyalty to play Art of War and banish my Command and Conquer. And the reason I care so much more about Warmonger's Diplomacy than Command and Conquer is because of how efficient Warmonger's is at stopping the combo. Like I said in the intro, Boltyn can just block Command and Conquer, and good, patient Boltyns are going to save their armor to stop something like a Command and Conquer on the turn they want to combo. They can use 5 armor block and a card from hand to stop the CNC, then fire off a 4-card combo, which can still come in for 30 points of damage at minimum. So by giving up the CNC here, we have the potential to draw into a turn, which we currently do not have, and we save our Warmonger's Diplomacy because you can't block a Warmonger's. What we're going to do instead is pitch the Warmongers to play the Art of War and banish the Lava Vein Loyalty, choosing to prioritize the CNC. I just don't like that plan. And it works out for us here where we will get to play this Mounting Anger, follow it with a Blaze Headlong, then use our floating resource to pick up and play a Phoenix Flame. We stick the CNC in Arsenal and just hold it there until we think it makes sense to fire off. But I would just rather it be a Warmonger's. Keep in mind too that we are going to draw into some hands that just don't lend themselves well to playing CNC. It costs 2. We might draw an all red hand on the turn that we really need to deal with the combo. I think overall this is poor decision making for me at the start, and that's just going to compound over the course of the game. We don't need to block this Illuminate. Yes, it will go into Boltyn's Soul, but we are just prioritizing damage. That's all we want to do. And to that effect, we will just play out this hand. We aren't going to worry about the fact that Snatch draws a card that we then really don't want to play. We can't use it. We can't arsenal it. We aren't going to break our Snapdragons here. We're just going to throw Spreading Flames, Emberblade, Double Strike, Snatch. We'll throw the damage. It's 13 overall. We'll see if we can leak some points of damage through blocks, which we very likely can with this Double Strike. We might get armor from Boltyn, which is good. We might get cards from hand, which is fine. Or we might just deal damage. Boltyn here choosing not to block, which is interesting. It's very possible that he has found a combo already. It's unlikely. I don't think that makes me want to do anything drastic like play CNC here. I'm unsure as to why Boltyn would block this double strike and not the spreading flames at the start of the turn. Maybe he thinks that I am looking and feeling for whether I want to break pouncing links for a lava burst or assault. But at this point, I'm less concerned about the combo. Boltyn with only 2 cards in soul probably can't combo off very effectively. I might be able to block it with armor and prevent Boltyn from completing his combo, but at this point, I want to just attack with Emberblade and Snatch. Instead, I just get afraid of a potential combo here. Boltyn taking that Spreading Flames damage has me worried that he is looking to fire it off, but that is just a mistake on my part. If he blocked this double strike for 2, I should not be afraid of the combo. I should just throw a Snatch and keep my CNC. We do get to stick a Snatch into Arsenal. It isn't a bad card to have in Arsenal. This Bolt of Courage is just 3 points of damage, which again, I don't know why Boltyn didn't block more on his last turn, but I certainly fed into that fear, so maybe that's why. Playing out this hand is going to be a little awkward. There just isn't much we can do with it. What I like doing with this hand is pitching our Bittering Thorns to attack with our Mounting Anger, then pitching our Enlightened Strike into our Furnace to attack with Emberblade, then we attack with Ronin Renegade, our Phoenix Flame, and our Snatch. I would sequence that a bit differently. I would put the Rising Resentment in front of the Mounting Anger. Instead, I choose to E-Strike, draw a card, break Snapdragon Scalers, and it works out. We draw a blue, but I think that's a little risky to do this early in the game, and when we aren't getting a big Art of War double finisher situation. That's really what we're looking to do in this match. We want to get the big Pouncing Link's Art of War turn, and part of that is using our Snapdragon Scalers. So here I think I use the Scalers just on a gamble. If the E-Strike draws a red, our turn is pretty bad. Drawing into a yellow is maybe a little bit better, but overall I just think that that was unnecessarily risky by me and does not play into what I'm trying to do here. We're not going to break Pouncing Links right now. We are just going to fire off a Snatch, fully intending it to not hit. Boltyn is very likely to just give us armor, which he does. Now that is going to open the door for future damage, but at least for that turn, it was okay. This Engulfing Light is coming for 3. If it hits, it will go into Boltyn's soul. At this point, Boltyn has 3 cards in soul. That's kind of the minimum that Boltyn is looking for before he combos. So I'm not really thinking that I can disrupt the combo at this point. I'm thinking more that I can utilize this hand to do some real damage. So we do have a line. If we wanted to block the Engulfing Light, we could throw Ancestral Empowerment in front of it. Ancestral Empowerment is not an attack, so Engulfing Light will not get additional power. But the other thing we can do is just bottom Ancestral to our Enlightened Strike, send E-Strike for 5 with Go again, then Blaze Headlong, then Snatch. I would expect Boltyn to block the E-Strike and the Blaze Headlong, opening the door for Snatch to hit, or taking armor from Boltyn, such as the Warhelm of Bologna, which would then break. And getting Warhelm before the combo is ready to go is just, it's good. The combo can be aided by the Warhelm. That is, of course, the line that I take. we are not looking to break Pouncing Links this turn. We no longer have our Snapdragon Scalers. I'm a little confused by the Boltyn's blocking here. I'm not sure why he isn't blocking with Gallantry Gold or even the Warhelm. And maybe it's to stop this breakpoint, but overall I'm just a little confused. With this Art of War, we will banish our E-Strike. Again, we are playing with fire here. We don't have our Snapdragon Scalers, and we still have our Mask of the Pouncing Links. So it might be worth it to banish the Lava Burst, knowing that with E-Strike, we have a way to start a turn, and we have Pouncing Links to find the finisher. The only problem with having this E-Strike is that we will go to 3 cards in hand. We would need to bottom one of those to the E-Strike. So the best we could really hope for is a 0-cost Draconic starter that gives our Emberblade go again. Then we break Pouncing Links to find a Lava Burst that comes for 6. I think that's probably the best play. If we had the Snapdragons, it's an easy Enlightened Strike banish. But without it, I think banishing Lava Burst is the best course of action, as with E-Strike, we can at least 6 go again, attack with Emberblade, arsenal a card, as opposed to keeping the Lava Burst, drawing into something like Lava Burst Snatch, and really just not having a turn. We see that we are rewarded for our line here, as having 2 Lava Bursts, Lava Vein Loyalty in hand would put us in a pretty awkward position. Though as it is, we are still in kind of an awkward position. If we throw E-Strike, bottom Lava Vein Loyalty, go again, and it hits, we do 6 points of damage. We could break Pouncing Links to find Double Strike, throw Double Strike for 5, then throw Lava Burst for 6. Overall, we are dealing 17 points of damage. I believe that is the best line available to us. We could pitch this Lava Vein Loyalty to pick up and play a Phoenix Flame, which would give the Emberblade go again. But that's just less damage than throwing the E-Strike for go again, and we don't have a great way to utilize our Pouncing Links in that case. We do throw E-Strike for 6 go again. E-Strike does connect, and we break Mask of the Pouncing Links to find a yellow Brand with Cinderclaw. Let's think about that. Brand with Cinderclaw is going to give our Emberblade go again. So between 3 damage from Brand, 3 damage from Emberblade, and 1 damage from the Tiger Stripe Shuko, this is worth 7 points of damage, as opposed to Double Strike, which would only be worth 5 points of damage, 1 from its own effect, and then from the Shuko as well, totaling 5. So this is the correct line of play, finding the Brand. The other great thing about Brand here is that it is the 3rd Draconic Link we would need to pick up and arsenal our Phoenix Flame. So this line also gets us an extra point of damage, so that Boltyn needs to give us a card from hand. It is the Beacon of Victory. So I'm assuming that Boltyn has other combo pieces, but at the very least, he doesn't get to do too much damage with this hand. We block this with armor, which I don't think we had to do. So it is true that between this Engulfing Light and the combo, we are looking at 27 damage, this Beacon of Victory pumping it up to 28 damage. That isn't lethal. I think we could have kept this armor and blocked with it later in the turn if we needed to. Boltyn would give us the opportunity to do that. We could block with the Flamescale Furnace here if we were really that concerned with getting our full temper value from the furnace, but giving Shuko here I think is a mistake. I think we're just losing too much damage, which we'll even see with this hand. We could attack with Brand with Cinderclaw, then Phoenix Flame and break the chain, then attack with Ronin Renegade, Brand with Cinderclaw, Ravenous Rabble, pick up and play Phoenix Flame, and Phoenix Flame gets the Shuko trigger. So I think blocking with Shuko here is just very aggressive by me. And this is an Engulfing Light. It isn't a
Bolt of Courage.
We don't prevent Boltyn from drawing a card. We also know, because Boltyn has Spirit of Irina, that he doesn't need the cards in Soul. He's going to have 2 action points from Instant Speed Lumina Ascension. And I did speed up the combo here. We're not going to block any of it. We can see that we end Boltyn's turn with 5 life. We could easily be at 3 here and still have our Shuko. It is worth noting that the Beacon of Victory that Boltyn blocked with would have been a 3rd Lumina Ascension if he had been allowed to keep it, and we would have absolutely 100% lost the game in the face of a triple Lumina. To use this hand, we are going to play the line I described, noting that we are losing out on 1 point of damage from the Tiger Stripe Shuko. Also worth noting that Boltyn did hit a few misses in that combo, though he was not at as high of a life total as he could have been at had he hit all light cards. Ravenous Rabble, unfortunately, not hitting a red. Rabble, of course, everyone's favorite card for just how consistent it is. Celestial Cataclysm, a great way to end a game. We are luckily at 5 here, so we don't need to be overly concerned with blocking this completely. Looking at our hand, the cards I am most interested in keeping are Double Strike and Salt the Wound, as I believe those are going to be the most difficult for Boltyn to block. If we double strike Salt, that is 6 points of damage. If Boltyn blocks some of the double strike attacks, then we can pitch Salt to Emberblade for 3. So to block this Celestial Cataclysm, I would like to put my Command and Conquer and my Flamescale Furnace in front of it. Boltyn still has a Beacon of Victory in his deck, I believe. So we could just be dead to that, but that's a chance we have to take. Here, not blocking with the Furnace, instead just going to 1. Risky play, but I think it's fine. Boltyn does not have resources available or cards in hand to charge this Take Flight, so we only need to worry about 4 here. We can block this with either Ancestral Empowerment or Salt the Wound. How tricky do we want to be? If we keep our Double Strike Ancestral, we can Double Strike. Maybe Boltyn blocks the second one with Warhelm of Bologna, but maybe he doesn't. And then we Ancestral Empowerment the Double Strike and just cheat a win.
Except that you just showed it to him, dummy.
The Ancestral Empowerment might brick, right? We might draw A Mounting Anger, a Bittering Thorn, something that we can't play, so we stick it into Arsenal and can't pressure Boltyn off of cards from hand that he would use to kill us. But it is playing to win, it isn't playing to not lose, and playing to win is something we want to be doing, so let's block this Take Flight with Salt and Furnace. We want to hold our Ancestral Empowerment for the second Double Strike attack, and we are really hoping that Boltyn wants to commit blocks to this last card in our hand. Unfortunately, Boltyn does make the safe play. We can still Ancestral over the top to push 1 point of damage, and we will pitch this blue Brand to attack with our Emberblade. Still getting a card out of Boltyn's hand, and hopefully putting us into a position where we are not dead, and can maybe draw into something like a Double Strike to take more cards out of Boltyn's hand. We do. It's very good. Unfortunately, this Beaming Bravado is coming for 4. Boltyn has charged this turn, so we do need to be aware of the +1 power. We'll block this with our Brand and our Lava Burst. We want to keep our Warmonger's Diplomacy because it is a non-attack action 3 block. So it is very possible that we can get good value out of it on defense, which we are going to be able to do. We will block the Centauri Saber. It will not get power, and Boltyn cannot give it Go Again. We'll attack with 2 instances of Double Strike and hope that we are leaving Boltyn with 2 ineffective cards. Boltyn coming with a Centauri Saber for 2. We need to block this with our Warmonger's Diplomacy. As it is, the Centauri Saber does not have Go Again, and we need to make sure it stays that way. If we block it with attack actions, it will get +1 power from its own effect. So we need to give Warmonger's Diplomacy. After the Warmongers block, the turn comes back to us. We can attack with Ronin Renegade. Ronin Renegade, pitch Bittering Thorns to FaB to pick up and attack with Phoenix Flame, and hope that Boltyn does not have a way to kill us with 1 card in hand and 1 card in arsenal. I luckily catch that Ronin Renegade is giving the Saber an extra point of power and block with the Warmonger's Diplomacy. Boltyn just showing us that he had a Lumina Ascension in hand and conceding the game. We do pick up the win. We do take these. We played a little sloppy, using our Snapdragon Scalers prematurely, which then came back to bite us on our Art of War turn, keeping a Command and Conquer in Arsenal as opposed to a Snatch, keeping a Command and Conquer in Arsenal as opposed to a Warmonger's Diplomacy. That CNC got absolutely no value over the course of the game, and in fact put us in a worse position as we did not have a way to stop Boltyn's combo, even though we knew it was coming. We did get the W. I do want to talk very briefly about this turn for Boltyn. Boltyn, if you are watching, you could have won here. Instead of your line, I understand what you were going for. You attack with the Centauri Saber. I block with a 3-block attack. The Centauri Saber goes up to 3 power. You Lumina Ascension at instant speed, which gives the Centauri Saber 1 more point of power to kill me. Instead, what you can do, you have 3 resources available between a yellow and a red. You pitch your Lumina to pay for Gallantry Gold, which gives your Sabers +1 power this turn. You then use your floating resource to attack with a saber for 3. You can then give that saber go again and attack with your other saber using the Beaming Bravado in hand. Each saber attacks for 3. I block the first saber with Warmonger's Diplomacy. You attack with the second saber. I block with Ronin Renegade and Bittering Thorns. Then on my turn I attack with Ronin Renegade, which you can block and hopefully kill me with a 3-card hand. So I get what you were going for. It was a cute idea. Alternatively, you can play the efficient line with Gallantry Gold and strip my hand of all but 1 card. 5 players who are watching this, I do hope you learned something. This is a difficult matchup. I understand that some Boltyns are preferring Raiden against us. I don't think that is correct. I think it is difficult for FaB to have combo breakers available when he needs them, and if FaB cannot stop the combo, FaB very often loses to it. Boltyn is a tough matchup, and the fact that Icelander is no longer here to gatekeep him is only bad for FaZ. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all learned something. If you did, be sure to head jab that like button. My comments are always open for questions or feedback. I'm looking forward to another 100 episodes of daily FaB gameplay with all of you. Come back tomorrow for another one, and until then, take care.